It's on the Mr. Goldberg and Ms. Pinnock. You bring the jury.
Your Honor, before we bring the jury, what is your preference? You said you wanted us to provide you with copies of things. I can give you copies now of every.
Now is better than later, always. Could look at my zipper. Computer bag and bring that.
Is it on my body on camera? One of the other officers. These are fingerprints that have been in. And this
All right, thank you. And to the media, I'm working on an order that is going to lay down a few more guidelines regarding media coverage, and I'll have that available later today. All right, thank you. Good morning. Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Day number 3. I neglected to mention to you all yesterday, as part of the initial orientation, that I will be appointing one of you to serve as the foreperson of the jury later in the process. And that person will have the responsibility of being the spokesperson for the jury, presiding over the jury deliberations, and completing the verdict form at the end of the trial. And so I'll be studying you all very closely and appointing one of you to serve as the foreperson. With respect to overnight or since leaving the courtroom, have any of you been exposed to any media or anyone making contact or being in contact with you that might affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror? If so, raise your hand. No hands are raised. I take it then that you are abiding by the court's instruction, which is essential. And thank you very much. State, next witness, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please the court. The state calls Ander Lee.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about you in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please have a seat. State your full name for the record.
Anders Sullivan Lee.
Mr. Lee, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Lee, please tell this jury a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and who you are.
Well, I'm originally from Tuberville. I now reside outside of Lake City, and I was the turkey hunter who found the body.
What part of South Carolina is the Tuberville Lake City area? Where is that in relation to Columbia?
It's about an hour and a half away from here,
Okay.
south.
South? Okay, so is it near any major cities or anything like that?
Kind of, it's about 30 minutes from Florence and 30 minutes from Sumter.
Okay. All right. And how long have you lived in that area?
My whole life.
All right. How old are you?
25.
Okay. And I want to turn your attention to March the 29th of 2019. What were you doing that day?
We were turkey hunting.
When you say we, who were you with?
Edward Ryan Knowlton.
Okay. And where were you turkey hunting?
We were, at the time, I think that morning we started out in Tuberville, and then we ended up that afternoon in New Zion.
New Zion. Okay. Had you previously hunted in those locations before?
Yes, the land in New Zion is his family's land, so we hunt there quite a bit.
It's Mr. Knowlton, your friend Mr. Knowlton's land?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you say you hunted there quite a bit, what do you mean by that?
I mean, we deer hunt, we bird hunt, turkey hunt there, just somewhere, it's close to his house, so somewhere easy for us to access, being close to his house.
Okay. And you said you first went to an area in Tuberville to hunt?
Yeah.
And did you find anything that morning?
No.
Okay. How long were you out there?
We started late that morning, and we stayed till probably lunch or a little bit after.
And then,
no success.
okay. So then you decided, let's go look somewhere else.
Yeah.
And is that when you headed back down towards New Zion?
Yes.
Okay. So about what time did you get to the New Zion area?
It was, I want to say probably 1:30, 2 o'clock. We checked some other places.
Okay. All right. And we'll bring the map around. Try and help you get oriented. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now we are here in Columbia on this first one, so I'm gonna That is the New Zion area, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, and you said it's about 30 minutes or so from Sumter?
Yes, sir.
That's over here, correct? And the Turbyville area that you were referring to in relation to New Zion is where?
It's on that map, it would be up towards the top, I guess to the north,
Up in here?
a little bit down.
Right in here?
Yeah,
Okay. About how far away is that area, the Turbyville area, from the New Zion area?
it's a 10-minute drive.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to describe the area in New Zion where you guys went. Do you remember what road you were hunting off of?
Yeah, it was Black Bottom Road.
Black Bottom Road. And is this Black Bottom Road here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll zoom in a little more. Right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What type of road is Black Bottom Road?
I mean, it's just a dirt road. One, the county or the state maintains it, grades it.
All right. And where does Mr. Knowlton live, your friend?
He lives off the, it would be on the right side of the screen at the end of the dirt road, kind of a lane. Yeah, right in there.
Where the kind of red colored fields are?
Yeah, and you see the driveway.
That's the driveway to Mr. Knowlton's house?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so is that the direction that y'all came in from?
Yes, sir. I believe we stopped at his house and got some drinks and then proceeded.
Okay. And did you eventually come down Black Bottom Road?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now describe for us, if you will, with this kind of zoomed in area of where you guys were going, where you drove, and where you went from down there.
So we turned off Black Bottom Road and went down that, I guess it's like a little farm road.
Is that here?
Yes, sir. Kind of goes back in there. There's some fields and.
Is that an actual road?
It's kind of more like a lane. Kind of like farmers use it and people hunting.
Like a farmer's access road of sorts?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the one here,
Yes, sir.
and this is Black Bottom Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you said you turned in off Black Bottom. You actually turned here?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
And you can kind of see there's a, it's hard to see on there, there's a fire break road.
Is
Kind of see the line. Yes,
this
sir.
here? Kind of break in the trees?
Yes, sir.
What's a fire break?
Just when they burn the woods, they take a bulldozer and kind of plow a path to keep the fire from getting out of control and getting onto other properties.
Okay. All right, so go ahead. You said you parked where?
Parked right past it. And
Down here?
yes, sir.
Okay.
And I took a pair of binoculars and I walked down it and scanned the field you see when you're zoomed out at the end of it, just to see if there was any turkeys.
Did you see any?
No, sir.
Okay. How long did you walk around over there looking?
Probably 5 or 10 minutes. I walked probably halfway down it and scanned.
Okay. As you were walking here from the access road down the fire break trail, what, if anything, did you observe while you were walking out looking for turkeys?
While I was walking down, I didn't observe anything. It was on my way back. So when
Okay.
I guess I was just looking through the woods and something caught my eye to the left.
Over in this area?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And
Describe that.
I saw something I wasn't sure what it was. So I stopped and I kept looking. And then I guess the more I looked at it, the more it started looking like a body. And that's when I called Ryan down there and he walked down the fire break to me. And he was like, we were kind of both in disbelief.
Objections overruled.
Go ahead.
And then,
You said you were in disbelief?
yeah, I guess we didn't expect to see something like that, turkey hunting especially, out in the middle of nowhere like that. And so I took a couple steps to get a better viewpoint because there was trees and stuff. And that's when we decided we needed to call somebody. We weren't sure.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
You said there were trees and stuff. Can you kind of describe the area between the fire break trail and where you saw? Like, is it an open area, like a field, or is it wooded, or what?
It's wooded. It's kind of it's not very thick woods, but there's a bunch of smaller trees in there, and there was like an uprooted tree nearby. So I was kind of trying to get a better vantage point
Okay. You said a moment ago that this area was, I believe you said, the middle of nowhere. Why would you describe it as that?
I mean, because it's not somewhere you just end up there. I mean, it's just farmland and woods. No, there's really nothing in New Zion, or, I mean, no reason you would just end up there.
Where is the nearest store, to your knowledge, from where you guys were here and found the body, as I zoom back out a ways?
So it'll be right there where the pin is for New Zion.
Okay.
It's right there at the crossroads.
So all this area here, this big broad area with the different colored parcels of land, what is all of that around that area?
It's just farmland and woods.
Okay. There's some residences there.
Yes, sir.
Obviously including Mr. Knowlton's family, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, I'm sorry to interrupt your story there. I wanted to just get some clarification on those things. So you were saying that once you and Mr. Knowlton saw what you thought was the body, you said you took a few steps a little bit closer.
Yes, sir, just to verify that's what it was.
About how close did you get?
Probably from me to you.
Okay. And at that point, what did you do?
Well, we weren't sure how to call in where we were at, so we knew Mr. Bubba lived nearby, so we called
Who's Mr. Bubba?
Mr. Bubba Morris. He works for DNR. He lives.
Is that Department of Natural Resources?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And he's very familiar with the area. And I think first we had to call Ryan's dad to get his number, and then we called him back there, and he was back there within probably 10 minutes.
All right. Without going into what Mr. Knowlton really said while he was there, once he was there, what did you all do while he was there?
We just sat and waited on the law enforcement to get there.
Okay. Did you get any closer to her body?
No, sir.
And where, can you describe on here on the map, again, Black Bottom Road and Farmers Access Road, where was, well, how'd y'all get there? Did you walk down Black Bottom? Did you drive down?
We drove down right past the fire break.
So you drove down the access road?
Yes, sir.
You
And we
drove
stopped
down-
right there.
Okay. And that was in whose truck?
Ryan's.
Okay. And when you, after Mr. Bubba got there, did you leave? Did you drive out? What did you do?
No, we left our truck right there until law enforcement got there and cleared us to leave.
Okay. So when they got there, did they ask you some questions?
Yes, sir. They got all our information and
All right.
stuff like that.
Did you ultimately meet with law enforcement again to talk about this?
Yes, sir. The next day.
Okay. And they took a statement from you about what you saw and what you heard and all that?
Yes, sir.
All right. You said you hunt out there all the time?
Yes, sir.
And I say out there, like specifically this area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you say all the time, what do you mean by that?
I mean, me and Ryan are together a good bit on our days off, and we both share the same hobby. So, it's either there, some of his family's land, like out there, either some the land I can hunt, fish.
Okay. When you are in this area, do you see a lot of random traffic come through there?
No, sir, never.
When you do see people come through there, are they people that you know generally?
Most of the time, yes, sir.
Are most of those folks generally locals?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen any trash or beer cans or cigarette butts or the like specifically in this area?
Yes, sir.
And of the times that you go out there to hunt, the many times as you described it, how often do you see stuff like that?
I mean, off the main dirt road, you see it quite a bit.
So you say off Black Bottom when you're on the access road is quite a bit?
Yes, sir. I guess you got people, kids driving through that got a hold of some beer or cigarettes or whatever, and they don't want to ride up and down main roads or you know, they don't want to leave them in their truck to get caught by their parents. You have people riding four-wheelers and stuff that go through there at night.
So this is kind of a place where nobody will know where they were drinking, right?
Yes, sir.
I see. So you said you've lived in this area your whole life. Do you know the defendant, Mr. Rowland?
I knew him from school.
Okay.
He was a few years older than me in school.
All right. Did you guys spend time together, socialize? Did you have classes together, anything like that?
We never had any classes together or anything.
Okay. So is it fair to say you kind of knew of him?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever hang out or anything?
Not that I recall, no, sir.
Okay. What school was that?
East Clarendon.
East Clarendon? Of all the times that you've gone hunting, how many other times have you come across something like this?
No, never.
All right, thank you. Those are all my questions. Okay, thank you.
By the defense.
Mr. Lee, how you doing?
Yeah, how about you?
I'm doing well. My name's Robert Killinger. Along with Ms. Pinnick and Ms. Good, I help represent Mr. Rowland. So you said that, where do you work, Mr. Lee?
I work at Newport Steel in
Newport
Berkeley.
Steel? And what do you do there?
I'm a second helper at the furnace.
Okay. And that's close to New Zion?
No, it's outside of Mount Pleasant, a town called Huckaby.
Okay. So you said you woke up to go turkey hunting with Mr. Knowlton. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. Y'all woke up a little late, though?
Yeah.
And y'all went up to Turbyville and came back and had lunch?
Yeah.
Okay. So you stated you got to Black Bottom after lunch, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you saw what you believed to be a turkey?
Yes, sir. Well, in the back fields back there, yes, sir.
Okay, and were you looking through binoculars when you saw that?
No, we were just we were easing by the fire break.
Right about here?
Yeah, and you can see down it. It's a straight shot, so you can see the fields. And I thought I saw what could have been turkey down there. That's when I walked further down the fire break with the binoculars.
Okay. On your way there, you said you grabbed some drinks?
Yeah.
Were the beers? I
No.
assume?
No, this was middle of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, some people like to have fun in the middle of the day. Did you happen to leave those drinks behind, or did you take those with you?
No, they would have been in the truck.
Okay. Okay, just want to clarify that. So when you came across the body, you got a little spooked, is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. And you called your friend, Mr. Knowlton, to come check it out, just to confirm that it might be
No, Mr. Knowlton was with me. We called Mr. Bubba.
Mr. Bubba, and that's Mr. Norris?
Yeah, Morris.
Morris,
Yeah, Ryan was already with me. And
Okay.
I guess I called him a little bit closer,
just to check it out?
down the fire break.
Okay, and just a minute ago, you told Deputy Solicitor Goldberg that you didn't get close to the body.
Yeah, probably for me to you as close as I got.
Okay. So it's safe to say that you didn't touch the body.
Oh, no.
And you said it took Mr. Morris about 10 minutes to get there?
Yeah, something like that.
Did you see whether or not Mr. Knowlton touched the body?
He did not.
And were you aware of whether Mr. Morris touched the body?
I don't recall him touching the body either.
Did either of them get close to the body?
He got a little bit closer than we did, but I don't think he never touched it or anything.
Okay. And had it been raining at all that day or the day before?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Beg course indulgence. One moment. Mr. Lee, is Black Bottom a dirt road?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are there any potholes out there?
Yeah, there is I guess you wouldn't call it a pothole. It's a big, on one end of it, at the time, it was Like if it rains a lot, it'll get muddy.
Sure.
And from like trucks and tractors and stuff going through there, it was pretty washed out.
Okay. Apologize if you couldn't hear me.
No,
I
you're fine.
just realized I still have my mask on. All right, and Mr. Lee, do you smoke cigarettes?
No,
So you didn't smoke any cigarettes that day?
no,
Mr. Nolan, to your knowledge, smoked cigarettes?
no,
And he wasn't smoking cigarettes that day?
no.
How about Mr. Morris?
I do not think he smoked cigarettes. I'm not sure though.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lee. That's all my questions.
Anything further?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. You may call your next witness.
All right, this time the state calls Hailey Bubba Morris.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please have a seat, state your full name for the record.
Henley O. Morris, Jr.
Mr. Morris, good morning.
Hey, how you, sir?
Good. You can pull your mask down while you're on the stand if you're comfortable with that.
Okay.
All right. If you could just spell your name again for the court reporter.
Henley O. Morris, Jr.,
Thank you, sir. Mr. Morris, where are you employed?
South Carolina Department of Natural Resources,
How long have you been employed there?
26 years.
Can you describe for the jury what your duties have been and currently are with the department?
Well, we're tasked to take care of the natural resources. We work all type hunting, and summertime we work the fishing all over the lakes, that kind of stuff.
When you say you work hunting and fishing, what does that mean? What are you looking for? What are you doing?
We go out and check hunters to make sure they got their all the hunting license and that kind of stuff.
Make sure they're complying with
That's
state
right.
law and things
Yes,
of
sir.
that nature?
Yes, sir.
There's some particular laws about what you can do with hunting and fishing. is
That's
that right?
correct. Yes, sir.
And your job to make sure that they are doing it
Yes, sir.
correctly.
That's right.
Okay. You've been doing that 26 years?
Yes, sir.
All right. Where do you live, sir? Generally.
I live on Knowlton Road, which on the end of Knowlton Road,
In what city? What town?
New Zion. I'm
New
sorry.
Zion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to look at this map here. We see.
It'll actually be Newman Branch Road.
Okay. We see New Zion up there.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you live? If you'd like to step down, you can if it'll help you. If the judge will allow. Am I willing to step down?
Where's,
You can come on down. If you just stand right over there.
where's Newman Branch? I'm sure it'll be somewhere around here.
Here's Black
You're on.
Mountain.
Where is Renegade at? I should be right here. I'm pretty sure.
Sir, Mr. Goldberg,
Yes, sir.
is he speaking with you or himself?
He was just kind of talking to himself, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
Or are you testifying to?
Yes, sir. Just make sure you can, why don't you go stand over there and then keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear it.
It should be right here. Is that Renegade Trail? I can't tell.
Yes, sir.
Glasses, but that's it. That's my house right there.
All right, let's zoom in a little bit. That's your house right there?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Okay, and this road right here is Renegade Trail, you said?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So that's your house, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's Black Bottom Road?
That's right. Yes, sir.
All right. So while you're down here, can you tell the jury, where were you that day and what were you doing back on March 29th of 2019?
I actually just pulled up to my house and my phone rang and it was Paul Knowlton. And he asked if I was in the area, and I said, yeah, I'm actually at my house. He said, can you ride out to Black Bottom, which is down here? And he said, my son and another boy's turkey hunting, and they think they see a body in the woods, but they're not sure, and they really don't want to walk in there. They got a little scared. I said, well, I'll pull them out there. So anyway, I left my house, and they came down and hit Knowlton Road and went to where the peg is, and stepped out and walked in the woods, probably 25 foot, and
All right,
it was a body.
slow down. So, Black Bottom Road, correct?
Yeah,
And then this is like the farmer's access road?
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
So when you drove down there, where did you go and where did you park?
I pulled right in behind, I pulled off the main road on this little secondary road here.
Yes, sir.
And that's where we parked right there. The other truck, the hunters were parked right in front of me on that road.
Okay, you parked right behind them
Yes,
on
sir.
the access road?
Yes.
Okay. When you got there, what did you do and what did you see?
Well, I stepped out and they said, whatever it is right there, and you could see something in the bushes, and you could tell it was closed. And at that point, I walked in. I tried to stay away from the main trail, so I walked around just to confirm it was a body. And once I confirmed it was a body, I backed out and went in and called the sheriff's department.
Approximately how close did you get to the body?
Probably 25 foot, something like that, 20, 25 foot.
Okay. Did you touch the body at all?
No, I could tell it in there.
Did you pick up anything, move anything?
No, sir.
All right. And please explain to the jury, why would you have called the sheriff's office at that time? How come you wouldn't have done anything?
Well, that's their field of expertise there, and I just backed out and I held the scene. I secured the scene until they got there to make sure what I was going to do.
All right. And so while you waited for them, what did you and the two boys do?
We just stood there, and I did ask them, I said, y'all didn't walk in there, and they said, no, they walked like 2 steps there, and once they seen what they thought was the body, they came right back out.
Okay. And then y'all waited for,
So then we on the sheriff's department.
when the sheriff's department arrived, did they talk to you?
Yeah,
And you told them what you saw and what you did?
yes,
All right. And then were you also interviewed again by state law enforcement division?
yes,
And provided them with that information
Yes.
as well?
that's right.
All right. Let's back up a little bit here. So, this is, again, just for reference, that's Black Bottom Road, correct?
Yes,
And your house is here?
yes,
Okay, and that's Renegade Trail.
yes,
Okay. Do you know the Rowland family?
yes.
Okay, how do you know the Rowland family?
They live right there across the road from me on Renegade Trail.
Right here?
Well, they were living there at that time. Yes, sir.
You must be louder, sir.
Try to keep your voice up. So I'll ask you again. How do you know the Rowland family?
They live across the highway from me, from where I live at.
And that's over here
Yes,
on Renegade Trail.
on Renegade Trail, yes.
Okay. And have you ever had occasion to speak to any of that
Oh,
family?
yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay. How long have you lived there?
All my life, with a house beside it, so 60 years. I've been there 60 years within 2 houses of each other.
Okay. Approximately how far is it from your house to this area where the body was located?
Straight through the woods, I'd say maybe a mile,
Okay.
something like that.
Is there access straight through there?
No, sir, not straight through. If you come up a little bit, there is a road that'll cut you, it'll take you to that main dirt road.
All right. Shifting back down to the area here, Black Bottom Road, and really the whole area. Can you describe for the jury what this area is like in terms of how familiar you are with it and what you do in that area as it pertains to your job?
It's not with a few houses on it on one
Make sure
end.
you keep your voice up.
It's not with a few houses on this road. It's on mainly just fields, fields that farmers plant and woods that hunters hunt. It's basically a cut-through road from Newman Branch Road to Old Manor Road. Just cut through. Other than that, that's about it. We have trouble with young people going in there at night parking, and what I usually try to do is every so often, I'll go through there at night, if I'm working nights, just to kind of run them off with it and make a mess and all.
So when you say young people parking, what do you mean by that generally?
They pull up in there to drink a little bit, got the girlfriends with them, what young people do when they park.
And this area off Black Bottom,
Yeah.
is that one of those areas?
Oh, yeah, yes, that's one of the spots right there.
Okay. And when you've seen people parking over here, is it on Black Bottom or is it on the access road?
It's on the access road. Usually they don't park on the main road. They pull right on that little access road. It's actually, when you pull on that little access road, it's kind of like a little pull-off. It's a little pull-off once you pull on the road. And that's mainly just pull right upside the woods.
So have you spent a lot of time patrolling not only this specific road in this area, but kind of this area in general?
Yes, sir.
And without having to go into specifics, I mean, is that the only parking spot in the area?
No, sir. I mean, there are other spots.
All right. And when you've responded to some of these areas with kids and whatnot, what types of things do you find in those areas where they've parked?
Usually there'll
Speak up.
be beer cans, cigarette butts, paper towels, and things like that.
All right. Trash bags.
No, now those people, we have people ride through this. Like I say, it's a cut-through road, and you have families there that doesn't want to go to the trash dump, so they'll take bags of trash and ride through there and throw them out. And actually, every so often we'll ride through there and go through the bags, and it's got a name. I call them, make them come clean it up and go out in the field. So.
Is this an area that you see a lot of random traffic from people who aren't from the area?
Oh, no.
And why is that?
Well, most people don't know about it, I guess, but in 26 years, I've never stopped anybody in there that wasn't right there.
I'm sorry.
So are there any reason
Yes, sir, he can
I'm
help.
talking to you as opposed to, well, you have a jury there, we have a court reporter here. That's who you should be talking to.
I'm sorry. If you would face them,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. You were saying that in 26 years, I'm sorry, I'll ask you the question again. Is this an area where you see a lot of people who are not from the area in as you're patrolling?
No, in 26 years, as many people I've stopped out there, I've never stopped anybody that I didn't even know or know their families that live somewhere in the area.
And that's in regards to these kind of secluded
That's
areas,
right.
Black Bottom Road.
That's right, yeah.
You can have a seat in the witness stand. Thank you for stepping down. All right, sir. I appreciate it. If you please answer any questions the defense has.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Romeo. Please report. Mr. Morris, how are you doing? Good morning. Excuse me.
How you, sir?
Do you remember being interviewed by sled agents, correct?
Yes.
That was about the day after, right? Sometime in the early afternoon?
Yes, a couple of days after.
Okay, and you just told the deputy solicitor and the jury that you're very familiar with the area. Been patrolling for 26 years.
That's right.
Okay. And as soon as you got the call from Mr. Knowlton, after his son notified him, you went straight to the location, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you confirmed what the boy or what the young man thought was a body?
Yes.
You told the deputy solicitor that you didn't get very close, correct?
No, sir.
And a little bit beyond that, you purposely avoided the trail, the
That's
main
right.
trail, heading out as you saw the body, correct?
That's right. Yes, sir.
And you notified the appropriate authorities, in this case, Clarendon Sheriff's Department, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And again, beyond just going beyond or avoiding the main trail purposefully, you also stayed on the scene, correct?
Yes, I stayed
to kind of keep people from getting close.
That's right.
And you also told the deputy solicitor that in addition to staying away from the body, you also obviously did not touch the body.
No,
Is it
sir.
correct to conclude?
That's right. Yes.
Beg the court's indulgence. All right, Mr. Morris, that'll be all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Morris, you may step down. Call your next witness.
The state calls Investigator Tommy Huckaby.
Special County involved. Please right here in free clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Will you sign the seat, state your full name for the record?
My name is Thomas Huckaby with Clarendon County Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How long have you been employed with the Clarendon County Sheriff's Office?
Going on 5 years.
All right, and describe to the jury what your duties have been and are with the Sheriff's Office.
So when I came into the Sheriff's Office, I went into investigations. I spent 4 years in investigations, and then I moved into training. Now I'm over training.
Okay, you say you're over training, so what does that entail?
Just training our department, getting everybody ready to go to the academy, and keeping up with our everyday training that everybody needs to stay on top of things.
When you were in investigations, what types of things did you do on a daily basis?
Investigate different crimes, anywhere from petty larceny to murders.
All right. You said that's been for 5 years?
For
That you've been at Clarendon?
Yes.
All right. Where were you employed prior to that?
Manning City.
Manning City Police Department?
Yes, sir.
How long were you there?
8 years.
What sort of things did you do during your time there?
With Manning City, I was patrol. I actually started my career at Manning City and worked my way up into patrol lieutenant, and then I went to the Clarendon County Sheriff's Office.
All right. I want to turn your attention to March 29th of 2019. Were you notified at some point that a body was located off Black Bottom Road in New Zion?
Yes.
All right. And as a result of being notified of that, what did you do?
I immediately responded to that area.
Okay. And when you drove in, did you come in from Black Bottom Road?
No, I came in off of Old Manning Road.
Okay. And you ended up coming down this dirt road here to get to the access road, is that
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you recall approximately where you parked your car when you got there?
On the main dirt road itself.
So not the access road?
No,
Black
on the
Bottom?
dirt road itself. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And were there already other law enforcement vehicles there?
There was.
Where were they parked?
On the dirt road near where the curve's at. We had the curve back, yes, sir, back that way and then back to the right on that dirt road.
And then over here?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. Were there other officers from your department there?
Yes, sir.
Upon your arrival, what did you do at the scene?
I went over and looked at Miss Josephson's body laying there, and once we did that, I notified my proper chain of command that we need to get SLED involved because she didn't look like she needed to be there.
What other officers were there from your department when you arrived?
Lieutenant Barr at the time, I believe it was, or he might have been sergeant at the time. I can't recall everybody who might have been there.
Okay. To your knowledge, had any of the other members of the Clarendon County Sheriff's Office done anything with the body or the crime scene at that point in terms of processing or collecting evidence or anything of that nature?
No.
And is that unusual for them to have done nothing at that point?
No, it's not unusual
Why is that?
because they're to secure the scene and wait for investigations to get there.
Okay. And in this case, it would be investigations.
Yes, sir.
At that point, you didn't know that the body was Samantha Josephson. Is that
At
right?
that time, no, I did not.
You didn't know anything about it,
No.
other than a body was found.
Mm-hmm.
So what would your ordinary protocol be in this type of situation, not knowing anything else?
With a situation like this, we would call SLED to come process the scene.
Okay, why would you call SLED as opposed to your agency?
SLED is highly more trained than we are. We don't get as many murders or fatalities like this or at all. So they're more apt to be able to process it better than we are.
How large is the Clarendon County Sheriff's Office?
Right now, we're about 72 deputies.
Okay. And that covers all of Clarendon County?
Yes, sir.
And that includes road deputies and investigators and everything else?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're just saying that their crime scene capabilities are a lot more advanced than your department, so you
Yes.
call them for help?
Yes.
All right. And as a result, nobody did anything with the scene at that point?
No, they did not.
All right. And so when you say you briefed command staff, who did you brief?
I would have talked to my captain at the time and let him know what was going on, and then he would go up from there.
Did you have an opportunity to observe the body yourself?
I did.
How close did you get?
5 foot.
Okay. Did you touch anything?
No.
All right. What were your observations of the body at that time?
There was a female body laying there bloody. Clothes were half, I'm not gonna say torn, but they were kind of half off, half on. One of the shoes was broken, flip-flop, sandal.
Did it appear to you as though an incident had occurred there or somewhere else?
No, it didn't appear that it happened there.
Okay, why was that?
There was no bloody drag marks. There was no blood spatter all over the place. There was no sign of a struggle in that immediate area.
All right. So as a result of that, you said you notified SLED and they came out. What happened next? What did you do next?
As far as when SLED come to process the scene, and then I had found out that Columbia had actually had a missing person, and I started looking, and I found a picture, and I went to my sheriff and said, "Sheriff, this is who we've got."
Why did you think that the photo you saw about the missing person was the body that was found?
Clothes, the description that was on the clothes, and then looking at the person on the picture.
And seeing what she was wearing, did it look like somebody that ordinarily would have been in this area of New Zion?
No, she looked very out of place right there.
All right. So you see the pictures, you look at her, and in your mind you're thinking, this is the missing person.
Yeah.
What did you do as a result of that?
As far as once I went to the sheriff, and then I called Columbia.
Okay, who did you call?
Sergeant, I talked with Sergeant, I can't remember his last name, but
You just called up the CPD and said,
hey, I need y'all to send me something because we think we have her here in Clarendon County.
okay, and what did they send you?
They sent me a flyer that they had done up as far as her.
Okay, was it a BOLO?
It would have been, yes.
Okay. State Exhibit number 4?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so once you saw that, did you then go compare that to what you were looking at
Yes, sir.
and concluded that it's the same person?
Yes, sir.
Once you made that conclusion, did that change things a little bit for you in terms of the nature of the investigation?
SLED was still coming in and investigating that part of it.
Okay. So if I understand what you're saying before, that regardless, SLED's going to do the crime scene.
Yes.
So let's say that it was an incident where you had information that the incident occurred or the person was from this area. Would your office have investigated the matter?
No, because she was taken from Columbia, we did SLED because they have multi-jurisdictional. They went in, they just took it all.
I got you. So had it just been something that occurred here, y'all would have done it, but because based on the information you had, it was from Columbia, you're out and SLED's in. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right. So did your office then proceed with any lead investigation from that point forward?
No.
And that would have gone to state law enforcement?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you have an opportunity to assist them in some various capacities, though, during the initial stages of the investigation?
I would ride around with SLED as they were interviewing people in that immediate area.
Okay. And why would you have rode around with them in that immediate area?
Because I know the roads better than they would.
Okay. And when you say the immediate area, I'm going to back this out a little bit. What area are you describing? I mean, are you talking about just down here near the access road, or are y'all expanding, branching out towards New Zion?
Branching out towards New Zion, Newman Branch Road, Old Manning Road. Old Manning Road's to your left if you're looking at the screen there, and then Newman Branch is the next road up at the crossroads.
Here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so are there some houses along here?
There is.
Including Mr. Morris, as we heard. And so you were assisting state law enforcement in terms of getting to these places and helping them make contact with these folks, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And were you present for some of those conversations with some of the residents in that area?
Some of them.
Okay. And without going into the particulars of what those folks told you, I'll just ask you this. Were you able to garner any leads about who may have been involved in this based on those conversations?
No.
Okay. Did you assist SLED in trying to obtain any video in the area?
I did.
All right. Are there, in this area that we're talking about right now, Black Bottom, Old Manning, and Newman Branch, this kind of circle here, are there any businesses in that area? Or is that all residential?
It's all residential.
And farmland?
And farmland, yes.
So where do you have to go to get to the closest business?
You have to keep going up Old Manning Road to New Zion, where there's a New Zion mini mart.
Is that up this way?
Yes, sir. Right there where your pin is at is where New Zion mini mart would be.
That's the closest business?
Yes, sir.
And did you all respond to that location?
Yes, sir.
And did you have an opportunity to view some surveillance video from that location?
Yes, sir.
What were you looking for?
We were looking for a dark colored vehicle at night.
And that was based off the information you received from Columbia?
Yes, sir.
Did you see anything on that video?
No, sir.
Any dark colored vehicles?
None that you could tell anything of what they were.
I understand. Would you agree with me that this area, we'll call it the Black Bottom Road area, the Farmers Access Road, that's a pretty secluded area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you familiar with a lot of random traffic that goes through there?
I'm familiar with hearing that people go through there all the time at night doing a cut through or maybe even partying in that area.
Partying in that area? Locals?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir. That's all the questions that I have.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, just, the only question I would have for you, you indicated that you reached out to the Columbia Police Department, and that would have been the day of March 29th.
Yes.
And do you remember about what time that was when you reached out to them?
It was dark.
It was dark.
I can't give you the exact time.
And I was a little confused on the timeline. So what time did you actually get to the scene?
A little bit after 3 o'clock, or some between 3 and 4, I believe it was.
Okay. And you indicated there were already officers on scene.
Mm-hmm.
Other investigators?
No, there was myself and another investigator showed up at the same time, but I don't recall any other investigators already there.
Would it be like a responding officer, a deputy with the Sheriff's Department?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you say you got there a little after 3, maybe 4 o'clock.
If I remember the time correctly.
Right. And you, at that point, reached out to SLED?
At that point, I reached out to my command staff,
Okay.
my superior, to let him know what we've got.
Okay. And at what point do you reach out to SLED?
My command would reach out to SLED.
Okay. So you reach out to command, based on the information you provided to them, they reach out to SLED?
Yes.
And would that have been nearly after you arrived on scene?
It wouldn't have been long.
Okay. And at what point do you find the picture regarding from Columbia Police Department regarding the bolo?
It was later on. It was dark when I got the picture.
So you call them asking for that information?
Yes.
And then you talk to someone and notify them that you think that she's there?
Yes.
Okay. Second court's in order. Thank you. I have no further questions.
You did that right.
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. May step down.
Thank you.
You can call your next witness.
He calls Jeffrey Kraft.
regarding the witness testimony.
Regarding the witness, Officer Kraft's testimony, witness testimony.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have you go to the jury room for a few minutes. It's a good time to take a break. Who is that? Who's Kraft? Is that an open door?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Pillinger, tell me about it.
Your Honor.
Mr. Pillinger made the objection.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
Yes,
Your Honor.
sir.
As we argued pre-trial regarding Officer Kraft's testimony and the reasonable suspicion of the bolo, we would just simply like to renew that objection to his testimony coming in, and that reasonable suspicion does not exist for the traffic stop, and thus creating an issue with any evidence derived therefrom.
Any response by the state?
Your Honor, we would rely on the arguments made in pre-trial and ask that you stick to the same ruling.
The court previously heard and ruled on this motion. Your objection is noted. We'll take about 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll press on.
Your Honor, may I?
Yes, ma'am.